Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast. My name is Irshaad Siddiqui. This podcast is going to be only in English and I'm going to talk about life. But this is not going to be like a simple and easygoing podcast. What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm going to discuss about life in detail and it is going to be like a slightly complex and in-depth topic or the podcast on life. Okay, so be ready for it. What is life? Life is a quality that distinguishes matter that has biological processes, such as signaling and self-sustaining processes, from matter that does not. It is defined descriptively by the capacity for homeostasis, organization, metabolism, growth, adaptation, response to stimuli, and reproduction. So, yes, I told you everyone, right? This is going to be a slightly complex one. So, yes, up for it. But the benefit of this podcast is going to be that you will get some in detail matter about life. And also, you will be able to hear something which you must not have heard before, maybe. Or you must have heard it before. If you are into reading, or maybe if you are into physics or chemistry, or maybe, you're like kind of a studious person. All right, going ahead. All life over time eventually reaches a state of death and none is immortal. Many philosophical definitions of living systems have been proposed, such as self-organizing systems. You must have heard about viruses, right? Of course, yes. And especially after this corona and everything, COVID, like the virus word has become very, very, very familiar to us. Viruses in particular make definition difficult as they replicate only in host cells. Life exists all over the earth in air, water and soil, with many ecosystems forming the biosphere. Some of these are harsh environments occupied only by extremophiles. Okay, by the way, I'm not going to be going in the detail of the meaning of everything. Like for example, how the meaning of extremophiles is all about. Like for example, if you want to know what exactly is extremophiles, then I'm going to tell you right away. Yes, so what is an extremophile? It is an organism that is able to live in extreme environments, that is, environments with conditions approaching or stretching the limits of what life can adapt to, such as extreme temperature in general. So I just gave you an example of a meaning of this word. However, progressing forward, you will come across a lot of other words, maybe which could be a little complex to you, as I rightly said in the beginning of the podcast. So kindly pause the podcast or re-listen to the word and you can just find out the word meaning or about it on Google or maybe in the dictionary and just come back and just resume the podcast. Okay. So moving forward, life has been studied since ancient times with theories such as Empedocles materialism, assisting that it was composed of four eternal elements, and Aristotle's hylomorphism, asserting that living things have souls and embody both form and matter. So life basically originated at least 3.5 billion years ago, resulting in a universal common ancestor. And this evolved into all the species that exist now by way of many extinct species, some of which have left traces as fossils. Attempts to classify living things too began with Aristotle. You must have heard about Aristotle, right? And of course this word fossils as well. Modern classification began with Carl Linnaeus' system of binomial nomenclature in the 1740s. Can you imagine that? 1740s is the time when it started basically. So, living things are composed of biochemical molecules formed mainly from a few core chemical elements. All living things contain two types of large molecules, proteins and nucleic acids. Of course, even if you have not heard about nucleic acids, but you must have heard about protein. Nucleic acids, we did study about it in the school. The latter usually both DNA and RNA. Of course, we know about this. These carry the information needed by each species, including the instructions to make each type of protein. The proteins, in turn, serve as a machinery which carries out the many chemical processes of life. The cell is a structural and functional unit of life. Smaller organisms include prokaryotes, That is, bacteria and archaea consist of small single cells. Larger organisms, mainly eukaryotes, can consist of single cells or maybe multicellular with more complex structure. So we are basically, you can say that eukaryotes in a layman language, because we are multicellular. We have many cells within our body, human body. Life is only known to exist on Earth, but extraterrestrial life is thought probable. Artificial life is being stimulated and explored by scientists and engineers. So my friends, I think from the complex point of view, or seeing life from this point of view, which is more of theoretical knowledge, it was right here, and I'm going to conclude my podcast right here. I'm going to resume, and we will definitely explore different aspects about life. So keep listening to my podcast. My name is Irshaad Siddiqui. You can connect with me on Instagram. My ID is YouTuber Irshaad, as well as I make lovely content on YouTube as well, and the ID is the same, YouTuber Irshaad. Irshaad is with double A. So I'll spell the entire thing once again for you. YOUTUBER space IRSHAAD. Alright, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.